You know, Mr. Speaker, I read yesterday an article that talked about, from Oxfam, they talked about the richest people on the world are emitting as much as the bottom 66% of income earners on the planet. Now, Mr. Speaker, I love a French rosé, but when I look at what I see happening with the ultra-rich, I swear they're bathing in it. They're bathing in it at the expense of everyday Canadians who desperately need the support. And what we don't see from this government or Conservative governments past is a willingness to actually say to the ultra-wealthy, you have to pay your fair share. Because I can tell you in my riding, people are paying their fair share. They pay their taxes, they work hard every day, and they're being punished for doing that when the ultra-wealthy are getting away with bigger and bigger profits. We know the reality is that Canada has the lowest tax rate for corporations at 15% for the ultra-wealthy corporations in this country, like oil and gas, which has seen an increase to their profit in the last year or so that is higher than the 30 years previous. So you can't tell me that it's just inflation that is making this cost when you see how much they're taking home of profit after the inflation is accounted for. And we know that grocery stores are making more profit now than they were prior to the pandemic. And that, again, is adjusting for inflation. Even with those extra costs, they are still making a huge amount of money. And their profits are popping like popcorn everywhere. And they cannot justify that when the very basics are not affordable for most Canadians. And I think that it's time that we start to address these issues and take them seriously, because really, we need to build a more fair society. Mr. Speaker, I talk a lot in this place about having a bar of dignity that no one falls below. And what we're seeing in this country is more and more people falling below that. I think of people with fixed incomes, people who are single parents, people who are working, two people, decent jobs, and they're living out of an RV because they cannot afford even a simple apartment to live in because of how high the cost of living has become. So the other thing that we're hearing, and I'm hearing from my constituents again and again, is that they cannot hardly afford the cost of food. Now, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, in my riding, there's a lot of small farmers that are doing everything they can to grow food in our area and provide as reasonable a cost as they can because they really believe in food security. And I want to thank them because they do that because of what they believe in, and it makes a huge difference. But we also know that grocery stores are making a huge amount of profit and they're getting away with it. So I'm really relieved that the Liberals have finally listened to our leader, the member from Burnaby South, about making sure that the Competition Bureau has more teeth to crack down on price gouging. It's like suddenly they were looking through the windshield and the windshield wiper moved all the dirt out of the way, and they can now see clearly that they need to do the right thing. So I'm grateful that they finally are listening to us, and I can't wait to see this done because so many Canadians are trying to buy the basic necessities of food to feed their families, and we're seeing so many children sent to school with parents who care about them desperately, but they don't have enough to give them a good lunch or make sure they have a good breakfast. That is shameful in this country. And if we have a Competition Bureau that can do its job, it's going to make the biggest difference, and that's about time. And you know, Mr. Speaker, this is how I feel about this. Without having a strong Competition Bureau, having processes where they can be held to account as grocery stores, we're censoring consumers. We're telling consumers we won't put anything in place. You know, we had this Liberal government call grocery CEOs and say, can you please stabilize prices? It's upsetting people. That isn't putting teeth and telling them, no, this is serious, because our people in this country matter. They matter more than you bringing home a huge amount of profit. So I'm glad that these changes that the NDP has made for Bill C-56 will actually help everyday Canadians. It's not as far as we would go as the NDP. There's a lot of things that we would definitely have in there, but we got something in there that's going to actually make a difference.